being a football fan and watching from the outside in, is whenever it gets this far down the line, the reason the club, in this case Bayern Munich, are pushing, and they're pushing because they know categorically that the player thereafter wants to go.
Yeah.
Right. Now, in your experience from moving from club to club, has that always been the case?
Yeah, of course, because Harry Kane went under, like Bayern Munich. I'll go back to the Sunderland situation with me, where I spoke to Sunderland. I got permission to speak to Sunderland. They asked me, would you like to come? I was like, yes, I want to come. So even when Daniel Levy was kind of haggling over the price, they knew that I wanted to come, which is why they got to where Daniel Levy wanted them to get to, and they paid the money. With someone like Bayern Munich, one of the biggest clubs in the world, surely they would have got an inkling, because Harry Kane's one of the best centre-forwards on the planet. So surely they would have got an inkling, like, does he want to come? Yes, he's interested in coming. Like, you wouldn't keep bidding and bidding. You wouldn't start breaking records, like record transfer fees and all that, if the player wasn't going to come. So they must have got some kind of indication or some kind of green light that, yes.
So what do you think's happened?
Unless this Harry Kane's headline that's breaking that he's opting to potentially stay at Spurs is just people bluffing, I don't quite know. Unless someone else who he'd rather go to, now that could be a Chelsea with Pochettino or Manchester United, whoever it may be, might have just said to him, listen, we are 100% coming for you next summer on a free if you're going to hold out for one more year. So if you've got any doubts about Bayern Munich and you don't want to go there, we are definitely coming for you at the end of next season. And maybe that's spooked him a bit and he's gone, do you know what? Okay, I'm not going to rush into anything. Then I'll stay. But then you look from Spurs' perspective, and listen, I'm not a Spurs fan, so they'll be able to tell us better, but will they be happy with one of the greatest players in their club's history walking away for nothing when he could have got them £100 million?
I think so.
You think he goes with their blessing on a free?
Yeah. All Spurs fans want Harry Kane to stay at the club for as long as possible. And if that means one more season...
where they get nothing, they'll be happy with that.
Yeah, because they're not the accountant.
No,
and with Harry Kane in the side, you've got more chance of winning something.
No, but you say that they're not the accountant, but still, that's what... Okay, so why do fans call up radio shows and be like, we're not putting enough money into the club? Do you know what I mean? So they do care about the finances. Do you know what I mean? So I know you're saying that they're not the accountant.
They do care about the finances. So of course they do.
So they want
but I think if Spurs got £100 million for Harry Kane, there's no guarantee that Daniel Levy's going to give that money to the manager to spend.
Yeah, there is that. But I just think, but for Bayern Munich, if this doesn't happen, they will look very, very silly.
Do you not think that Harry Kane needs to own this? He needs to come out and actually say, right, listen, I've decided I'm doing this.
Well, you know, at the start of this summer or the back end of last season, everyone knew he had 1 year left. He could have come out then and said to the world and said, listen, I'm not going anywhere. I love Tottenham, but I'm not staying here beyond the end of my contract. So I'm going to stay here for 1 more year and then I'm going on a free. Then everyone would have stopped talking about it. But the fact he didn't say anything and now we're guessing, is he going to stay on, go on a free? Is he going to Bayern? We don't know. But the fact that Bayern have kept going and kept going and kept going to the fact that it could be a record fee for them to play for a player. Imagine that. They do all this. They go, and Daniel Levy is a hard negotiator. So they do the hard part, which is getting the price to probably somewhere they didn't really want to pay, but they thought, you know what, we'll pay it. And then Harry turns around and goes, nah.
It's very bizarre.
Very bizarre.
My view is that Harry Kane holds all the cards. All of the cards.
Of course he does.
And he can stay at Spurs for another season. Mm-hmm. He can get himself 20 more goals nearer Alan Shearer's record, so he'll be round about 40 off. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of that season, right, he might help Spurs to top four. He might help Spurs win the League Cup or the FA Cup. Might get Spurs Champions League football. It might be even fifth, of course, as well. But then at the end of that season, his last hurrah for Spurs, then he can sign for any club he wants, because you get the feeling that Daniel Levy's not going to let him go to certain clubs, certainly English clubs. Go to any clubs he wants. And, of course, he can still get copious amounts of money every week, $400,000-500,000 a week, because there's no transfer fee.
Which do you think means more to him? Say, breaking Shearer's record or potentially winning the Champions League?
I think the record. I think there are hundreds of players that have got a Champions League winners' medal. There's only ever one all-time scorer.
No, but it's not, because this is my point, is that if he goes and he becomes because I think he will break Shearer's record, right? What's to say that someone doesn't break his record in a couple of years? So all of a sudden he's forgotten about when it comes to that record anyway. Whereas a Champions League winners medal.
Well, as a goal scorer, what would you rather be?
I'd rather a Champions League winners medal. Because you think that's yours. Champions League.
Okay, so let me ask you, Jermaine Pennant, right? Jermaine Pennant.
No one can take that away from him.
Jermaine Pennant, right?
Yeah.
We love Jermaine Pennant. It's been Champions League final.
Yeah.
Runner-up.
Didn't win though.
No. Do you think it would be more impressive for me to say alongside me is Champions League winner Jermaine Pennant, or alongside me is the Premier League all-time record goal scorer Darren Bent?
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And
what's better to have on your CV?
Champions League winner.
I don't know if it is.
Because remember, listen, if you win the Champions League, No one can ever take that away from you, right? You've won the Champions League. Records are there to be broken. So the moment someone comes and breaks that record, then what else has he got to show for it? Like, I was once Premier League all-time record goal scorer. Like Shearer, who people say he's always got that Premier League to fall back on.
But Shearer's got a Premier League winners' medal.
Yeah.
And of course
but he's got the Premier League goal to fall back on.
What do you think is worth more to him?
The Premier League winners' medal, 100%.
Do you?
Yeah, the 100%. The Premier League to win the Premier League, that's massive. I get it. The record.
I'll text him and ask him.
The record.
Why are you laughing at that?
No reason.
Why are you laughing?
But the record, I get it, is what Shearer has done, 260, is I never ever thought I'd see anyone break that. But my point is, someone looks like potentially they could break it, whereas no one could ever say to him, "Give me that Premier League's winners' medal back." That's always there.
We'll take calls on it now, and when we come back, 03717 22 344. Leon is a Spurs fan. Hi, Leon.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you today?
Yeah, not bad. Just irritated by this Kane saga, like most Tottenham fans and most football fans, to be fair.
You want him to stay, though, right, Leon?
I'm happy either way. If he stays, I want him to sign a new deal. If he goes, he has to go now, because I don't want him walking out on a free like
really?
A lot of fans. I'm happy either way. So,
but what about Leon? What about if he comes out tomorrow, makes a statement, says, "I'm staying at Spurs one more season. I love this club. I'm going to help them get Champions League football, try and win a trophy, but then I'm off."
I'd be extremely disheartened, like a lot of Tottenham fans. He's a great player. No one can deny that. But he's at that time now where he has to decide if he's going to stay. He needs to sign that contract. Otherwise, we risk losing out on potentially 100 million.
Just a mad thing, right?
Sorry, hold on. Thanks for calling. Not the best line, but thanks for calling.
Is that he's been phenomenal for Spurs, hasn't he? All-time record goal scorer, been brilliant, right? But they've not won anything with him, right? So what are people expected if he was to leave Spurs? They're not going to get relegated. They might not finish as high maybe for a little while until they rebuild the whole squad. But it's not like all of a sudden he leaves and they're going to get relegated. That's not going to happen.
No, okay. Max is a Spurs fan. Hi, Max.
How we going, boys? All right?
I'm great. How are you today?
Yeah, not too bad. I was just cracking up at you two. Just sat here waiting. Then honestly, you two made me laugh.
That's very kind. In a nice way, right? Not in a silly way.
Yeah, no. Yeah, okay. Good way.
So go on, listen, you've heard it all. You've heard the debate. You've been watching it unfold on the news and listening to talkSPORT all day. What's your take on it?
I think I'm trying to sort of look at it more through a personal terms on Harry Kane's eyes. Like, obviously, he's got, like you just said, he holds all the cards. He can do whatever he wants pretty much right now. And obviously, there's the whole thing going on with his missus dropping, and he's got a really young family and everything. And you sort of have to ask yourself, do you then put yourself and your family in a position where you then obviously up and move to Germany and start a whole new life? Or do you, like Bentley just said a minute ago, you smash this year's record with your young family, and then next year you're literally, you're anyone's game, plus you've got old mates in the crowd now, like Pochettino and all that. I think personally, if it was me, I would leave it another year now, and then I'd have even more cards to hold, especially with my family to think about.
And as a Spurs fan, would you have a problem with Harry Kane leaving your club for nothing?
It's a good question, but I think, to be fair, Tottenham's probably enough of an empire that I know it's 100 million, but when you look at Tottenham and probably the movements that are going on now, I don't think it would be that much of a bad thing for him, especially as he's served us for so long. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I know it's 100 million. People will be like, wow, can't just disrupt that. But still, I think, it's one of them. You've given him enough chances as it is, and
Okay. And last question to you, Max. When Harry Kane retires, in 20 years, 30 years' time, he's sat in his lounge looking at his mantelpiece, and he's either got Champions League winners' medal on it or a little plaque that says Premier League all-time record goal scorer on it. Which one do you think he or you would take?
See, I was going to ask Bentley this question because obviously he's been a striker, but
just think, Matt. Just think. You've got the plaque.
I asked him that, and he said Champions League.
Yeah, I know, and he's right, isn't he? Because you think you have that, that's yours. Like, literally, I was a Champions League winner in this year. And there it is. Whereas, like before, I mean, I can't personally even tell you who was the record holder before Shearer.
I don't think there was a time before Shearer in the Prem.
So, I think, to be fair, it's a good question, but when you think of it realistically, probably Champions League medal.
All right, thanks for that. Thanks, Max. Just a quick question for you. Does it make a serious question? Does it make a difference if you win that Champions League winners' medal, what you've done in the competition. So, for argument's sake, if you went through the whole competition, played brilliant, scored goals, and then injured for the final, or got injured after 5 minutes, so had no real input in the final, and had that medal, would that make a difference to the answer?
Yeah, it would still be unbelievable.
It would still be that, even if you didn't play in the final.
Yeah, of course.
You'd still rather have a medal from a final you didn't play in than the all-time record.
But that again is a different question.
The reason I'm asking that is because if Harry Kane's going to get that medal, does he have to make a difference in that final?
Well, he's just got to have medals on that. That's
just got to have the medal.
That's the biggest
accolade you
can get. Champions League winners' medal. And my point is that Shearer record is unbelievable, right? It's incredible. But if, for instance, Harry Kane breaks Shearer's record, right, and that's what he's got, and Haaland stays in the Premier League and he breaks Kane's record, then it's like, okay, well, there's nothing.
I know, but there are hundreds of footballers that have got Alan Shearer's Premier League winners' medal.
It doesn't, not hundreds. Okay, there's a few. Okay, there's a select few. Not that many, but still, they've all got one.
Yeah, there are hundreds.
Would you rather have something or nothing? Remember,
yeah, but the nothing's not the option here. It's something or something.
Well, but my point is, for one, someone might break his record, so then he has nothing. The Champions League, he's always got something.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.